As Seth Godin says, instead of wondering when your next vacation is, maybe you should set up a life you don't need an escape from. I don't think people really realize we construct our lives. We build them from nothing. We decide what our goals are. We decide in what way to move. We decide who we're going to become and what we're going to get. But it's a decision. It's a process. It isn't something that somebody hands to you. And so if you find that your life is a misery, understand that your life is an exact reflection of your choices. And if you want a different life, you need only make a different choice. But I know right now, many of you are thinking, but I don't know what way to go. I don't know what choice to make. I don't know what it is that I want to do. And as Roy Maurice Keane said, I don't believe skill was or ever will be the result of coaches. It is a result of a love affair between the child and the ball. So ask yourself, what's that thing that you love? And don't judge yourself if it was something that you loved as a child that people are telling you couldn't possibly make money. And it's that part of the equation that I want to break for people. I want you to understand. Stop asking yourself what you can make a lot of money at, and start asking yourself, what would you enjoy? What is that life that you don't need to escape from? What is the life that is your love? What is the thing that as a kid you did, whether people wanted you to or not? What is the thing you would sneak out at night to do because you weren't going to be stopped from doing it? Everybody has something like that in their life. Some spark of interest, maybe long dormant, maybe that they've pushed aside because they think it's stupid. Or maybe they failed once and they think they're bad at it. And even though they love it, that sting of the failure has convinced them to stop pursuing it. But at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is what gives you that energy. At the end of the day, the thing that matters is what fills you with joy. At the end of the day, the only thing that matters, it's not success. And it sure as hell isn't money. It's how you feel about yourself when you're by yourself. It's the things that give you energy. It's what you think about yourself. It's how you react to the hard things. It's whether or not you push through. And when you push through, when you persevere, when you go down the process of taking the time to structure your life, to build it into something that you want it to be, to build it into something that you're proud of, to become the person that's capable of the things that you want to do, that can first fall in love with something and do it for the love of it and not worry about what other people think. If you hate your life, I guarantee you the thing is that you are trapped by what other people think. You don't want to give it up because somebody will think you're a failure. You don't want to give it up because it's a paycheck. You don't want to give it up because you're scared. You're scared you don't know what you'll do next. But imagine a world for a second where all you thought about was what do you love? What do you enjoy in that moment? It doesn't matter if it changes from day to day. Just what do you love? What fills you with joy? What gives you that energy? At the end of the day, the only thing that we all have is right now, this moment. It's what you're experiencing. Loving what you do, how you spend your time. That's the point of all of it. The point of life is that. In each transient moment that passes by, doing something that fills you with joy. Nobody can give you that. You've got to build that life. So go out. Figure out what it is that you want to do, and brick by brick, have the courage to build that life. As Henry David Thoreau said, never look back unless you're planning to go that way. And that's how people get trapped. There's something inevitable about the way that the human mind works. It's going to try to draw you backwards. It's going to try to get you to focus on the bad things that have happened. It wants you to see your mistakes. It wants you to wallow in your mistakes. And I'll give it that maybe it has the best of intentions. Maybe its hope is that I don't repeat those mistakes. Maybe what it wants to ensure is that I do better in the future. But the problem is, your energy goes where your attention is. And if your attention is the past, that's where you're going to live. That's where you're going to spend your time. And you're never going to be able to plan for the future. The future doesn't happen. The future has to be built. It has to be created. And if you're not taking the time to map out that creation, then it's going to happen by accident. And you're never going to get the things that you want. You're never going to become the person that you're capable of becoming. But to become that then you have to push yourself. You've got to make huge demands of yourself. And to do that, to have the energy to see that through, you've got to know what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And as William Faulkner said, don't bother just to be better than your contemporaries or your predecessors. Try to be better than yourself. But how can you do that if all you're doing is looking in the past? You've got to have an eye to the future. You've got to know who you are today. You've got to have the self-awareness, the presence, to look at yourself honestly, to accept what it is about yourself that is weak, that is inadequate, but without punishing yourself, without spending that time beating yourself up in the past, living there in the pain of what you got wrong, living there in the pain of all the things that have happened to you that were outside of your control that you didn't want. If you want to build something new, don't spend any of your energy trying to tear down the old. Instead, spend all of your time trying to build the new. And that becomes the thing. It becomes the race against yourself. It becomes the race to see if you can make yourself better. You have a vision of who you can become, and you're constantly racing against that person. You're trying to become better than that person. You're trying to outperform your own expectations. And when you can do that, when you can set a bar that is ridiculously high and then become somebody capable of surpassing that, then, and only then, will you become the person you are meant to be. So put all of your time and energy into building